everyone. My name is Layla, and I sell air. I know that sounds strange and maybe even crazy, but I live in a city where the air is polluted with smog, which makes getting a full breath of air difficult. This problem inspired me to open my own business, which has caused me numerous problems. Before I tell you about this business, I will say a few words about my city. We have 3 factories and 2 power stations, which have completely polluted the atmosphere. All branches of the media have written often about the awful ecological situation, but the people in charge of the city don't care. Due to this, many families have left the city. And believe me, my family would also leave this place. However, it's not that simple. For most of our lives, my parents have worked in the largest local factory. They are experienced specialists and play a very important role in the productivity of the factory, which brings our family a respectable income that allows us to live comfortably above middle class. And due to that, we haven't left the city. But I don't like living here. The trees in the park are dying, all the lawns are artificial, and the sky is constantly gray. People become ill often. My classmate Jeremy's immune system was heavily weakened, and he was forced to move out of the city with his family. I'm afraid that I will also get sick. Then I decided that as soon as I finish high school, I'm leaving this city to live in a healthier environment. But before this, I, like everyone else in the city, have to wear masks that don't help at all against the polluted air. But in a single moment, everything changed. My family and I were spending our holiday in a resort hotel near a forest. The resort hotel wasn't too far from our city, but while breathing the clean, fresh air, I felt as if I was on another planet. As I enjoyed the fresh air, I had a wonderful idea to sell the forest air in my city. It's quite likely that a lot of people would be interested in such an original product, which would allow them to feel as if they were in a pine forest. I shared my idea with my father and got his support. Together, we developed a business plan along with a design for the canisters that would contain the forest air. As my father had worked with canisters for many years, he helped me seal the air inside them, ready to be sold on my website. I should admit that in the beginning, people weren't overly willing to buy such a strange product. However, those who were left only positive reviews. After only a few days, the whole city found out about our canisters. A lot of people wanted to buy them. Business was booming. And I nearly lost my mind from happiness after seeing the amount of money that I was earning. I set aside a part of my earnings to pay for my enrollment in an elite university. Unfortunately, this didn't last too long, as angry reviews from buyers started to appear on my site. People were complaining that the air in my canisters was unsafe and advising other people to avoid them. I didn't think too much about it. They were probably just envious haters that were jealous of my brilliant idea. Eventually, it got to the point where a buyer threatened to go to the police. She also wrote a review in which she said that she was almost poisoned by my air and demanded that we return her money immediately. I was completely shocked by the audacity of this woman. I had already come across a few similar buyers who claimed that the air in my canisters smelled even worse than the city air. When I requested that they provide samples from the canisters, they immediately refused, disappeared, and ignored me. I knew very well that these threats would never turn into concrete action. Imagine my shock when I got a police summons. That horrible woman didn't want to give up. So my father and I met her at the station, and she confidently claimed that she had not inhaled forest air from her canister, but some kind of swampy gas that almost killed her. We got into a heated argument, and as a result, she suggested that I try the air from the canister. With a smirk, I raised the canister to my mouth, inhaled, and the world around me disappeared. And I came to sometime later, lying on the floor. I had a disgusting taste in my mouth, and I felt excruciating pain coming from my head and lungs. The woman reproachfully nodded her head. She was right. In the end, the police gave me a huge fine and told me to expect an inspection from them soon. They also said that if my product is discovered to be deadly, there would be trouble. After this incident, I checked my inventory and confirmed that the air inside them was disgusting and impossible to breathe. I was ashamed that I hadn't paid attention to the quality of my product and had sold our clients poison. I started to feel paranoid. When I saw people out on the streets with our canisters, I constantly thought about the fact that they were breathing poison that would lead to consequences worse than the city smog. My paranoia got so bad that one day in school, after seeing a younger student with one of my canisters, I ran up to him and grabbed the canister straight out of his hands. The boy glared at me with a terrified expression and burst out crying. I tried to explain to him that the air is not safe, but he didn't listen to me. At this point, the director approached us and asked us what was going on. I explained everything about the canisters to him in detail, after which he took his own from his briefcase and right in front of my eyes threw it into the trash can. The director advised me to immediately stop sales so that nobody else would be at risk. After this, I searched the whole internet trying to find out why my air had started to smell. I decided to talk to the chemistry teacher, and she explained that air is a living substance, which in certain conditions can spoil and turn stagnant. At this moment, my world turned upside down. Air can spoil. How is this even possible? The chemistry teacher said that storing air in a closed space without it spoiling is very difficult, but possible. However, that requires a large amount of capital and expensive equipment. I realized that I would need to completely stop sales, and then I became upset. I warned people on my site to not use the canisters and started to get rid of my inventory. Unfortunately, my troubles didn't end there. As I expected, some people were injured due to the spoiled product, and I was forced to pay out a large amount of compensation to them. I'm lucky that nobody else went to the police. Otherwise, I would have lost all of my earned money paying out compensation. And there were the inspections, which also caused me a headache. Even though I told them that I had already closed my business, they still fined me a large amount for selling people a low-quality product. My parents had to fork up a large part of their savings to save me from this trouble. But the story doesn't end on a completely pessimistic note. As to my great surprise, it turned out that my canisters helped a few people. A lot of people were upset when they found out that my business was closed. And among those people was one of the largest entrepreneurs in the city who wanted to discuss a proposal face-to-face. It turns out that our oxygen tanks had helped his whole family feel much better. Mr. Dawson wanted to buy a large batch from me, but unfortunately didn't manage to before I closed the business. He said that he was ready to invest in my business and help with the development of canisters that would preserve the air for much longer. I was so shocked that I could barely believe my ears. He said that the people of our city have the right to be healthy, and we can develop a tool that can help them. After a few months, we started selling again. Mr. Dawson also invested in advertisements and a PR company, which helped restore the public's faith in our company. People started buying our canisters so fast that we barely managed to make enough to keep up with the demand. After only a few months, we earned such an astronomical amount of money that we decided to design filters for the factory chimneys.